How about Mecca? How many Muslims travel to Mecca?
Yeah.
And you're absolved of your sins.
Yeah.
You go to Mecca, you make the pilgrimage, and they all go around, and they're essentially walking around a meteor.
Man, let me tell you about something that totally flipped my brain upside down. You know how I've had all kinds of people on here? Fighters, scientists, conspiracy guys, monks, people who claim they've been abducted by aliens, the whole spectrum. I thought I had a pretty good handle on how different cultures work. And then I went to Mecca. Dude, Mecca. I'm not even kidding. It was like stepping into a whole different dimension. Not just geographically, I mean on a soul level. You can watch documentaries, you can hear people talk about it, you can scroll through Instagram reels of those overhead shots of millions of people in white. But until you're there, you don't feel the vibe. And it's a vibe unlike anything I've felt anywhere. And I've been to some wild places. Amazon rainforest, outer edges of the Himalayas, Vegas on a Saturday night. But this was something else. So, first off, the energy. You get off the plane and you can tell this isn't your regular tourist destination. It's not like Paris where people are taking selfies with croissants. This is heavy, not heavy, like scary, but heavy like, whoa, there's thousands of years of history baked into the air here. It's almost like the air molecules know what's going on, like they're whispering, pay attention, man. I had read about the Hajj and Umrah before, but when you actually see people from literally every country, every skin tone, every accent, all in that same white ihram clothing, bro, it messes with your brain in the best way. Nobody cares who's rich, who's poor, who's got a Tesla at home, or who walked 5 miles barefoot to get here. Everyone is just human. Same uniform, same direction, same purpose. And here's the thing, you know how in MMA there's that moment before the fight where everything else disappears and it's just you and your opponent and the goal? Multiply that by like 1 million people. Everyone moving as one. There's something primal about it. Like some ancient programming deep in us that says, when the tribe moves together, the world feels right. I remember walking towards the Masjid al-Haram, right? And the closer you get, the louder this low hum of voices gets. You're hearing prayers in 100 languages, footsteps on marble, the sound of birds overhead. And then you turn this corner, and boom, there's the Kaaba, dude. I'm not exaggerating. My brain just froze. You've seen it on TV, in photos, in those viral drone shots. But in person, the size, the simplicity, the presence of it, it's like looking at something that's not just physical, like it's an anchor in reality itself. And here's the weirdest part. It's not decorated with gold and jewels like some giant trophy. It's just this simple, cube-shaped structure with a black cloth. But it's the most powerful thing I've ever seen in a cityscape. It's like if a mountain decided to be humble. I just stood there for a while, letting my brain catch up. People are circling it, the tawaf, and there's this flow, like water around a rock in a stream. Nobody's pushing, nobody's cutting, in line even though it's packed. Everyone's just in sync. And you realize, man, this is a machine that's been running for centuries. Millions upon millions of people have done this same motion, saying the same prayers. You feel small in the best way, like, hey Joe, the universe is big, you're a speck, and that's okay. Now, I gotta be honest. I went in thinking I'd just observe, maybe take some mental notes for the podcast, you know? But something about being in that space, it pulls you in. I found myself doing the circuits, moving with the crowd. And it's not like going around in circles in a Costco parking lot. This is different. Every lap, you're looking at that Kaaba and thinking about your life, your choices, the stuff you've been holding on to that doesn't matter. And by the 5th or 6th lap, you start to feel lighter, not physically, but in your head. Like dropping mental baggage. Here's another thing. You don't hear music there. You don't see ads for buy one get one free coffee. The whole environment is stripped of that noise we don't even realize we live in every day. All you hear is prayer, footsteps, and this giant heartbeat of humanity. It's like a giant reset button for your brain, and I'll never forget this. There was this old guy, maybe 80, moving super slowly with a cane. People are rushing past him, but he's locked in. Every step is deliberate. And I thought, man, that's determination. That's decades of wanting to be here, and now he's here and nothing's stopping him. You see that? And suddenly your back pain or your jet lag just doesn't matter. We stayed until nightfall, and dude, if you've never seen the Masjid al-Haram lit up at night, put it on your bucket list. The whole place glows, the marble, reflects the lights, and there's this soft breeze. It's cooler, calmer, but still buzzing with energy. And when you look up at the sky, the stars above Mecca, it's like they're part of the gathering too. Man, that was just day one. So day two, man, I woke up with this weird combo of sore legs and mental clarity. You know that feeling. After a crazy jiu-jitsu roll where you're physically smoked, but your brain is like, that was exactly what I needed? That's what Mecca does to you. I grab a light breakfast, dates, some yogurt, mint tea, nothing heavy. And that's another thing. The food here? Dude, it's like the land knows what's good for the human machine. You're not downing 200 calories of pancakes and bacon. It's clean, simple fuel. I swear, I could eat like this forever and my body would be happy. Anyway, we head back to the Haram. Now it's daylight. The sun's bouncing off the marble so bright it's like God's own spotlight. People are already flowing around the Kaaba and it's packed. But again, zero chaos. It's like a living organism. You're part of a cell and you just do your job without thinking too hard about it. I started noticing the little details. You've got folks from Indonesia walking next to people from Senegal. Guys from Turkey chatting with dudes from Texas. No language barrier, no politics, no arguing about sports teams. Everyone's here for the same reason. It's the most unified I've ever seen human beings, and I've been to UFC weigh-ins, where half the arena is chanting one name and the other half is booing. This is the exact opposite. Then I met this guy. I'm not making this up. From Alaska. Big dude, beard, hands like bear paws. He tells me he converted to Islam 10 years ago after working on fishing boats and reading about the Prophet Muhammad in some book he picked up at a thrift store. And now he's here, sweating in 100-degree heat, smiling like a kid on Christmas. We talked about moose hunting for like 15 minutes in the middle of Mecca. That's the thing. It's still real life. People are still people. You've got sacred moments. And then, 2 minutes later, you're talking about whether halibut tastes better pan-seared or grilled. So we do more tawaf, and this time I'm really leaning into it. I'm not rushing. Each lap, I'm thinking about different parts of my life. One lap is about gratitude, my family, my friends, my health. Another lap, I'm thinking about regrets, times I messed up, things I wish I could tell my younger self. Another lap, I'm just empty. No thoughts, no overanalyzing, just moving. And that's rare for me because my brain is usually running 15 browser tabs at once. And here's the trippy part. When you're in that crowd moving shoulder to shoulder with strangers, you start to feel this weird synchronization, like your heartbeat is syncing up with theirs. Science probably has some explanation for it, group movement, shared breathing patterns, but in the moment, it feels almost mystical. After Tawaf, we head to the area for Sa'i, the walking, between Safa and Marwa. And man, if you don't know the story behind that, Google it. It's about Hagar searching for water for her son. She runs between these two hills 7 times, and they've preserved that route. Now it's enclosed and air-conditioned, but you still feel that history under your feet. People are walking, some are jogging in the marked green lit section, because that's where she ran. And you're like, wow, this isn't just exercise. This is literally retracing a mother's desperate search to keep her kid alive. As a dad, that hits you right in the chest. I kept picturing my daughters. I can't imagine that level of drive, that level of willpower, and she did it without knowing how the story would end. Spoiler, it ends with the Zamzam well, which is still flowing today. Speaking of Zamzam, oh man, you drink it and it's not like this is the best tasting water ever, although it is super clean and smooth. It's more like this water has a resume. It's been in this exact spot for thousands of years. Generations of people have come here, prayed, cried, drank from it, and gone home changed. You feel like you're part of a club that's been open since forever. Later that afternoon, I'm just sitting in the courtyard sipping more Zamzam, and I start people watching. And here's something you notice. There's no VIP section. You could be a billionaire or a broke college kid, and you're shoulder to shoulder. No one's asking for autographs. No one cares how many followers you've got on Instagram. The Kaaba doesn't care about your status. And man, in a world that's obsessed with likes and blue check marks, that's refreshing. We stayed through the Asr prayer, and that's when it hit me. The sound. When the Adhan, call to prayer, starts, it's like the whole city exhales at the same time. That voice echoes off the marble, and suddenly everyone just stops. Shops close. People freeze mid-step. Imagine Times Square on New Year's Eve. But instead of everyone screaming, they all just bow their heads in unison. It's goosebumps every time. That night, I tried to sleep early, but I couldn't. My brain was replaying every moment, so at like 2 a.m., I just said, screw it, and went back to the mosque. And bro, the 2 a.m. crowd is a different beast. It's quieter, but there are still thousands of people. Some are praying, some are just sitting there with their heads bowed, some are reading the Quran under soft lights. It's peaceful in a way that's hard to put into words. I found a corner and just sat. No phone, no distractions. Just me, the sound of soft footsteps, and the occasional cough from an old man a few rows over. And for a guy who's used to constant stimulation, podcasts, UFC, elk hunting, comedy clubs, that stillness is addictive. It's like your brain finally gets to hear itself think. And before I knew it, the sky was lightening, and the Fajr Adhan started. That sunrise over Mecca? Man, that's one of those images you keep in your head forever. The sky goes from black to deep blue to gold, and the whole place just glows. And you're standing there thinking, I'm on the same marble that millions of people before me have stood on, and millions after me will stand on too. Ha 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 ha. You know, people ask me all the time, Joe, what's the craziest place you've been? And I've got some wild answers. Elk hunting in Utah, isolation tanks in sensory deprivation. But Mecca is in its own category. It's not about adrenaline. It's about alignment. Like your compass finally points north again. And that was just my second day, man. So by day 3, I'm already in this rhythm. Wake up, light breakfast, walk to the haram, get lost in the crowd, feel your brain hit that meditative gear, rinse, repeat. But the crazy thing is, it never feels repetitive. You can walk the same marble path 100 times, and each time it's like the place is showing you a new side of itself. This day, I decided to slow everything way down. I wasn't going to rush from one ritual to the next. I just wanted to exist there. You ever do that? Like when you're camping, and instead of hiking or fishing, you just sit by the fire and watch the smoke? That's how I treated this day. Except the fire was the Kaaba, and the smoke was this steady stream of people orbiting it. I found a spot on the 2nd floor where you can look down on the whole courtyard. And dude, that bird's eye view? It's hypnotic. The crowd moves like a galaxy around a black hole, slow, steady, unstoppable. I just leaned on the railing for what must have been an hour, watching strangers melt into this one collective motion. You start thinking about how tiny you are in the grand scheme of things. But in a weird way, that makes you feel bigger. like you're part of something timeless. At one point, this kid, maybe 10 years old, comes and stands next to me. He's got the same wide-eyed expression I probably had on my first day. We both just stood there, not talking, staring down. After a while, he looks up at me and says in broken English, "Beautiful, yes?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, beautiful." He smiles, runs off. That's it. 2-second interaction, but it sticks with you. Sometimes you don't need a deep conversation to connect with someone. You just need to witness the same beauty. Later, I went back down to do tawaf again, and this time I ended up next to a group from Nigeria. They were singing softly as they walked, and it was mesmerizing. Different language, different rhythm, but it somehow fit perfectly into the hum of the whole place. It's like Mecca takes everyone's unique frequency and blends it into one soundtrack. And bro, the humility you feel there is intense. In regular life, you get so caught up in your stuff, your projects, your image, your little victories and frustrations. But here, all that gets stripped away. It's like the spiritual equivalent of shaving your head. No ego, no filters, just raw human being. That afternoon, I wandered outside the main complex into the surrounding streets. That's when you see the contrast. Modern hotels, neon signs, coffee shops, and then a few steps later, you're back in a space that's been sacred for over a millennium. I grabbed some shawarma from a little corner spot. Nothing fancy, just fresh bread, juicy meat, a little tahini, and it hit me. The simplicity of the food matches the simplicity of the experience. No fluff, no overcomplication, just the essentials. Nightfall came, and I decided to do one last long stretch in the haram before leaving the next day. The crowd was huge, but somehow even more peaceful than usual. Maybe because I knew it was my last full night, every moment felt sharper. I noticed the way the moonlight hit the Kaaba, the way the marble stayed cool under my feet, the little waves of cool air drifting through. Around midnight, I sat near one of the outer gates and just thought about life, about how I spend my time, about what actually matters when you strip away all the noise. I thought about my daughters, how I want them to see the world, not just the Instagram version of it. I thought about the guests I've had on the podcast who talked about spirituality and how now I finally had a reference point for that stillness they describe. And I realized something. Mecca isn't just a place you visit. It's a place that visits you. Like you bring yourself there physically, but the deeper part, that part gets invited, and once it's been there, it doesn't leave. It's in you now. Laughs softly. The funny part is, I went in thinking, this will be great content for the podcast. But man, when you're standing there, the idea of content feels ridiculous. How do you package something like that? Into a soundbite? You can't. You just take it home in your chest. My last tawaf was right before Fajr. The sky was still dark, but you could feel the light coming. Each lap I tried to memorize the details, the shine on the floor, the soft shuffle of thousands of feet, the smell of clean marble mixed with the faint scent of oud from someone's robe. By the 7th lap, I wasn't thinking about cameras or words anymore, just gratitude. Pure, undiluted gratitude. And then the call to prayer rang out, and everyone stopped, faced the Kaaba, and bowed. That sound, in that moment, with the sky turning gold, it's burned into my memory like a tattoo. Not the kind you regret later, but the kind that becomes part of you. After prayer, I took one last look. No rush, no panic, just goodbye. But it didn't feel like goodbye. It felt like, see you later. I know I'll be back someday. Maybe with my kids, maybe with friends, maybe just me and my thoughts again. But I'll be back, walking away. I felt lighter. Not in some magical, all my problems are gone way. Life's still life, but in a way where you know what to hold on to and what to let go. And that's a hell of a souvenir to bring home. So, yeah, Mecca. Not just a destination. Not just a story for the podcast. It's a reminder that no matter how loud and messy the world gets, there's a place where millions of people can move as one, without ego, without borders, without nonsense. Just humans, pointing in the same direction. And, dude, that's beautiful.